New Zealand's leaders have paid tribute to Her Majesty the Queen, acknowledging her unwavering strength and duty. Prime Minister Ardern led tributes in Parliament, describing her as an anchor in a sea of change.
A motion to honour Her Majesty the Queen. New Zealand's Prime Minister and party leaders paid their respects in a parliamentary sitting dedicated to Queen Elizabeth II.
Mr Speaker, Her Majesty's consistency did not come at the cost of New Zealand evolving as a nation. She stood in support of our aims and ambitions as an independent country within the Commonwealth.
The sitting was introduced by a message from the Governor-General Dame Cindy Kiro.
She retained an abiding interest in the changes and developments taking place in our nation and great affection for its people.
Both the Prime Minister and Opposition Leader offered their condolences to King Charles III.
We, the members of the House of Representatives of New Zealand, wish to offer Your Majesty our heartfelt sympathy on the loss of your beloved mother.
To join with the Prime Minister in mourning the passing of the Queen and recognising her extraordinary lifetime of service to others.
Before sharing their own anecdotes, Jacinda Ardern, the 16th Prime Minister of New Zealand, have met the Queen, recalling her checking in on Anzac Day commemorations during the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I remember describing to her how we marked it during lockdown and wondering what she would make of it. We all stood at the end of our driveways, Your Majesty, in the dark. Some played the radio and you could hear the last post while we stood there silently next to our neighbours. She paused for a long time. Well, that sounds rather moving, she said.
And Opposition Leader Christopher Luxon reflecting on a childhood memory.
I, like many Kiwis, did not know her personally, but one of my very first memories is standing on Memorial Avenue with my mother and my brother, enthusiastically waving our little plastic flags as the Queen drove past on her way to open the Commonwealth Games in Christchurch.
Her Majesty would visit New Zealand on 10 occasions, the first in the summer of 1953 and 54.
For the vast majority of New Zealanders, we have known no other king or queen.
The Prime Minister spoke of the Queen as a constant, an anchor in a sea of change throughout her 7 decades as a sovereign. And although she has said she believes New Zealand will become a republic during her lifetime, she was emotional, recalling the words of the Prince of Wales.
We knew this day would come, but it will be some time before the reality of life without the Queen will truly feel real.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister will depart New Zealand for London to attend the funeral. 11 New Zealanders have been invited to represent the country at the service. They include the Maori King Kingi Tuheitia, former Governor-General Dame Sylvia Cartwright, Victoria Cross for New Zealand recipient Bill Apiata, and former Secretary-General of the Commonwealth Sir Don McKinnon. Jessica Maggio, Sky News, Wellington.